Hey guys, it's been a little bit, but I am back. I'm gonna make a car video right now. So, we have a few more important aspects of the engine, and one of those last few is engine cooling. Because when you're driving down the road, your car, even if it's cold outside, gets pretty hot. There needs to be a system in order to make sure your car's operating at the right temperature in its engine. Whether that's too hot or too cold, there needs to be a system that brings it either up to temperature or back down to an optimal operating temperature. This, of course, is our engine cooling system. So, got my new big whiteboard here. Look how big it is, guys. So, I'm going to draw something on it real quick. So, while I'm drawing here real quick, I just want to ask you guys, how you guys been doing? How are your college classes? How are our jobs? How are our pets? Are you guys drinking enough water? It's very important to me to know that you guys are drinking enough water. Drink plenty of water. Don't party too hard. That's never a good thing, you know. But have some fun. Go out. Remember, you have a life. You're human, you know. And honestly, just there's no future. There's no past. There's only the present. You just kind of gotta live for the now because that's all that's guaranteed. Now is the only time it's guaranteed. You gotta live for the now, you know? So I'm just drawing out my pictures here. And if there's any questions you guys have, just text me in the group chat, you know? I'm always ready to answer stuff. I love answering things. So anyway, I'm almost done here. All right, so here is a basic diagram of the car's engine cooling system. So right here, so this is the front of the car. This is, let me see if I can get a little better view, and there we are. This here is like the front of the car. Air rushes in this way. This right here is your fan. The thing in front of it is, like right here, this orange thing right here, is your radiator. And this is the, where did I draw it? There, right there, is your thermostat, which helps regulate your car's temperature. And just like your oil system, your cooling system also has small valves and passages that go through the engine and bring cold, whatever coolant, whether it's water or antifreeze, it brings that through the engine through small holes in the engine block. Then it goes around the back to the radiator cap, then to the heater core, then back into the engine through the other side, and then either it goes into the reserve tank if there's too much, or it goes back into the radiator, which we'll talk about in a few seconds here. So there's a few aspects to unroll here, and I think I'm going to start with the radiator. Let me draw you guys out a radiator here. So so Soji, I want to ask you how's Jagger? I love him. How's Sushi, and how's Jimmy John's? I know you work at Jimmy John's now, and I promise I think I'm gonna send your yearbook soon. I just keep forgetting because, oh, busy life, you know. Carson, how's Tat doing? And Brisa, how are you and Delaney holding up there in Lincoln? Are you espresso depresso, you know? All right, here I got a radiator drawn out for you guys. So your engine uses water and antifreeze to cool down your car, and as it cycles through, it actually starts to get pretty hot itself because your engine operates at around 212 degrees Fahrenheit. So when it recirculates through, it goes through the frontmost part of your car's cooling system, the radiator. The radiator sits at the front of your car, or sometimes at different places depending on things like that, but that's a discussion for later. So water actually runs through these little red lines. Like if you look at a radiator, it has like a bunch of little metal slits, and water runs through those. So when air rushes in through your front grill, air passes along those metal slits and cools the water down, or antifreeze, you're supposed to have a mix of 50-50 antifreeze and water. When it passes through there, it cools down that mixture so that it could be used to keep the engine cooled down. So now we're going to move on to the next aspect, which is your fan. Now, like the radiator and water system will work great as long as you're driving. You have to be driving about like 10 miles an hour for it to be effective, you know. Here, I'm going to do this. So, if you're not driving, then cooler isn't rushing in, which means your engine is actually getting hotter. So in order to combat this, they came up with a little thing, and it was a fan. Here, I'm just going to do this. So this fan is used like when you're stopped to keep cool air drawn and going in, you know? And it's driven two ways. Either by a belt that is directly attached to the engine's crankshaft, which we learned about already, or it's attached to an electric motor, which is a component of the alternator, which is something we also learned about already. If you need a little review, I will gladly give it to you. So here's a little drawing of it. So if you're stopped, or if you're going too slow, your fan spins and it sucks air in through the radiator into this. And the problem is with a fan, if it's a belt-driven fan, which is in a lot of older cars, not mine. Mine's new enough that has an electric one. Like before the 60s, it was common to have mostly fan-driven or belt-driven fans. But the thing is, if you're at a red light, the fan's not spinning as fast because your engine's not spinning as fast and doesn't have the RPMs, so your engine still gets hot. Which is why if your fan goes out, no matter what happened, what type of fan you have, if you notice your fan goes out, you'll know because steam will start coming from your engine. Drive faster because it'll keep cool air rushing in through your engine and help keep your coolant cold. So now we're going to look at the circulation system of this. I'm going to draw it out for you guys real quick. And tell me how you guys like my new markers. I got a new set of markers just for you guys. I love you guys that much. And if any of you guys have girl advice, I could be using some of that too. Morgan, yeah, she's really hard, man. She's a hard one, you know. Always so goddamn busy. Just being the greatest human alive. Can't fucking do it, guys. Can't fucking compete. So I'm going to draw this as I go. So here we have the basic layout. So air goes in. It's pulled in by the fan if you're going slow, or right here. So water starts here, and once it goes through the radiator, it goes into this little valve stem here, which drops it down to the bottom. Because of course heat rises, so if it sits toward the bottom of your engine, the reserve at the bottom of the radiator to help the coolant stay cold. And once it's down there, it gets pumped out by your water pump. I'm gonna use I haven't used a red marker that much, so it goes from that water pump up to the tippy top of your cylinder heads up here. These are your cylinder heads, and it goes through there. And through all the things there, and then it comes out here to the radiator cap. This radiator cap is set so that a lot of these things here, like it's set to operate at a very certain pressure, and if a little bit of coolant leaks out or you put in too much, it disrupts that balance. So this right here is meant as a pressure release valve to release some of the air pressure so that your coolant system doesn't just blow, which will be very bad, very, very bad. Extremely bad. And then it routes around here to the heater core. The heater core is a small fan, and if the water, it's for your heater. If you want to turn on your heater, this opens up, It opens up to like the rest of your thing. It has a fan in here, as a fan, and the fan will send out into the hot air into your car that's from this. But if not, it goes right through into back into the other side of the engine. Or let me draw that a little shorter. It goes back here into the other side of your engine, and then it comes out toward the front, and it goes either to the reserve tank, which is if there's a little extra, and then it goes back to here, and some of it actually ends up going over here to the transmission coolants, which keeps your transmission cold. The transmission, I'll explain the transmission. That's a whole thing. I'm not looking forward to the day I have to make a transmission video. I can't explain it. You guys won't understand it. So now that I think that's a pretty comprehensive guide of that. I'm going to talk about the actual coolants now. I don't need that for this. So antifreeze, you guys know, it's like ethylene dioxide, ethylene propylene, you know, it's ethylene glycol. It's a bunch of ethylene shit, you know. Not good, don't drink it, even though it smells very good and it looks like something that should be sold at a gas station, like soda fountain. Don't. I repeat, here, I'll play a little song for you. Don't drink the antifreeze. Don't drink the fucking antifreeze. Antifreeze, it makes cold things hot and makes hot things cold. It wants to bring things to a central temperature, but you don't want that to be the entire makeup of your coolants. You want a 50% mixture of antifreeze and water. And this helps because antifreeze is naturally kind of goopy, so it won't flow very well. Your water pump won't be effective. But a mixture of those two helps your cooling system bring the engine temperature up if it's too cold and down when it's not too hot. So yeah, your cooling system, you have a lot to thank for that. And the cooling system is also part of your air conditioner, which is why if you reroute some of that coldness into you, which is why if you're running the air conditioner on a hot day, your engine will actually overheat because it's trying too hard to keep you cool and it's hurting itself in the process. So see, you guys are toxic and selfish if you use your air conditioner. So on that note, just let me know how you guys are doing in the group chat, and I love all of you guys. I love you guys so much. Carson, tell me how you're doing. Sochi, tell me how you're doing. Risa, tell me how you and Delaney are doing up there in Lincoln. And Grace, Howard, Jackson, Cosmo, and you, and anyone else. How are Matt and Teresa? How are Cora and Liv? How's Cadence? How's your sister Sochi Placencia? And yeah, so bye guys.